Oh my dear sweet PowKiddy, what have you brought us today? Another RK3326? Oh, you shouldn't have. That's right, we have a mini called the V10. It retails for $40 USD. This is right in that impulse buy range, and I went ahead and picked one of these up. A 3:2 aspect ratio display, no Wi-Fi, but you have a little machine here that is ideal for Game Boy Advance and plays up to PSP, Dreamcast, and N64 with caveats. I've had it for a few days now and I've been evaluating it. I came away surprised. So is the V10 worth it? Well, we're gonna find out. Let's do a little review. Oh, hey, look at that. The purple in the cord matches the purple on the buttons almost. There have been so many RK3326 devices. You get a number of custom firmware choices with this. But on day one, this one ships with ArcOS, so that's the one we're going to be showing today. I want to show what PowKiddy included on the card and what the intended purpose of the device is. So we're not going to see N64, PSP, or Dreamcast. Those don't always perform particularly well in this chipset. More than that, they're systems that would rely a bit more on having an extra analog stick. Mainly with this being a new 3:2 aspect ratio device that's been released, we can finally have something to compare against the tried and true RG351P from Anbernic, which is another 3:2 device, awesome for GBA. And as far as we know, these are the same screen, meaning it's a 480 by 320 pixel display, but you do have here a 3.5-inch IPS OCA full laminated display. In here we have a 1.5 gigahertz quad-core Cortex A35 CPU, Mali G31, gigabyte of DDR3L RAM, storage. This one happened to ship with, I got the cheapest option that you could get, a 64 gigabyte, rocking a 1 watt mono speaker right there. As far as the battery goes, you have an accessible 3000 milliamp hour watt battery, and it's adhered with some tape that I just totally ripped off. That's fine. Getting a little bit of PowKiddy branding on the back. Battery life has been okay in my testing, by the way, but we'll get into that. Maximum power consumption is 5 watts. Battery life supposedly is 8 hours, while I saw maybe a little shy of that. Charging time is about 2 hours. It actually took just a little bit longer than that for mine. And USB-C fast charging, it's going to be this one right there. Wi-Fi works if you want to plug in a dongle. You have a standard 3.5mm headphone jack on the bottom. I like how compact it is, but it's a little bigger than you might think. For reference, here's the Retro Chicken. But what about something more familiar like the original Miu Mini? So it's a little bit, at first, it's deceiving. It looks like it might be small like the Miu Mini size. It's a little bit bigger, but it's okay. It's chunky in a comfortable way. So I got the black with purple. You can also do the transparent purple, you can do the gray, you can do the beige, but you can configure it from 64 gigs all the way up to 128. You can get it from PowKiddy.com, soon from GoGameGeek, as well as AliExpress. So there you go. Now as far as the shell, the finish, and the feel, so this is a very soft feeling matte shell. I really like that. There's no real gloss to it. I'm not seeing fingerprints. Seeing this level of build quality for the price kind of blows my mind. So the buttons themselves, okay, the D-pad has a very comfortable pivot to it. It's soft, mushy rubber membrane, but it feels controlled. It's a satisfying pivot there. You have what you'd think are volume up and down, but nope, those are function buttons. We'll need to use hotkeys to get our volume up and down. Fairly loud, kind of loud anyways, start and select. And the face buttons are surprisingly very nice. I mean, they feel like the RGB30's face buttons. Mushy rubber membrane again. This is actually a little bit of grit to it and texture on the corner there, so it doesn't dig into you. I like that. And you have actually a little bit of curvature on the back. Nice ergonomics going on there. I like the curved roundedness. They don't dig into your hands at all. Only problem I have with the shoulders though is I was playing in bed the last few nights, and definitely my wife could hear me flicking these buttons specifically, so I tried to avoid them in game, but they're pretty loud. Classic D-pad only design, which works well, especially for the systems that this can play. Now there's no space down here for your hands to sort of hold something comfortably, so I noticed hand cramping on this within about 20 to 30 minutes. and I would have to take frequent breaks from using it. Now you can kind of grip it very lightly to extend playtime a bit, but if you're hunkering down on this, especially if you're playing in bed, it seems like I just got hand cramping a lot faster than I wanted to. So maybe look at something like a 3D grip. Likewise, I've had similar issues with the Miyoo Mini Plus, so this is another one I've used a grip here and there with. And so maybe the 351P isn't done just yet. So other minis to compare it to, the RG28XX from Anbernic. Not really a mini, in the same ballpark, the new 40XX. The 35XX Plus and the original 35XX. And also I should say I don't have one, but let's compare it. So this as well is a 3:2 aspect ratio screen. It's called the RGB20. It came out a long time ago. They still have this for sale actually for about $50, which isn't too bad for what you're getting here. Really funky choices for the shoulder buttons, but it does have Wi-Fi, which is nice, and it does have a stick. Or the somewhat newer game console R36S. So you do get sticks with this. It's a really nice 4:3 aspect ratio, 3.5-inch screen. Both of these, nice high quality, but you get loud shoulder buttons here. Dpad on this wasn't the best, but you can do a mod to fix that. Likewise, you're gonna want to do some fixes. Fix for the Dpad on here, for the face buttons so they're not so stiff, but again, you do get sticks. I mean, often there's sales, so you can get the Miyoo Mini Plus around this price point as well. This one has a looser D-pad, which people really seem to like, and I got used to it over time. This probably definitely wins as far as being the most accessible device. Having Onion OS on here in its mature state of development, you are getting just a very full-featured device, and as well as you get Wi-Fi in here. So you get Wi-Fi here, no Wi-Fi, no Wi-Fi. And between these two, as far as comfort goes, I would say the 35XX wins for me. This is such a nice, comfortable size and form factor. Probably one of the reasons why I went back to it time and time again. 35XXH. You could also talk about and make comparisons to something like the new Miyoo A30, which is not too bad at all, and this one's getting better all the time. We'll be talking about this more. And the recently popular 35XXSP. Strangely, not 3:2 aspect ratio though. All right, let's turn this bad boy on. So again, this ships with ArcOS, a build from August 29th, 2021. So a little bit older build. You could upgrade this, connect to a Wi-Fi dongle, or you could load on another custom firmware on another SD card entirely. But I think this is a solid choice. It held up fairly well in my testing. There's this cool Switch style menu theme that you can load on here. Box art came pre-scraped, which was great. As far as the screen quality goes, it is a fairly vibrant IPS display. On camera there, you're going to be seeing the pixelation a bit since it is fairly low resolution. And you can actually press select if you want to randomize through different games. And if you want to play one, you can just press start. Isn't that cool? I always love that feature. So here's the annoying thing is that I want to turn the volume up right now, and I can't, right? So what you need to do is set some hotkeys. So I set volume up and down to up and down on the D-pad. So here's your hotkey function button. You're gonna hold that, and then now you can hit the volume. Screen quality is, and playing in bed last night, it was looking really nice at 1%. It gets very dim, as you can see, it's extremely dim. So this is a great nighttime machine minus those loud clicky back buttons. And likewise, if we go up to 100%, it gets fairly bright. The mono speaker is a bit tinny, but it gets fairly loud. Let's take a listen to this speaker hum. Okay, it's there, but it's fairly quiet. Let's see, can you hear that? That is not enough to really bother, especially if you have the volume up above 1%. And again, on viewing angles, they're like the 351p. So let's quickly test out this D-pad with a few tried and true classics. Okay, let's do it. So yeah, the D-pad feels very responsive. I'm doing above average with my Hadoukens. Rocking a little left. Nope. Rocking a little to the right. Nope. Start to pivot the right bit. Yes. For me, that's about in the sweet spot. Let's test a few more games. I could not find any rumble or vibration motor in here, by the way, but we do have Celeste. The Retro Tech Dad won't like this. It's fairly Celestable. I would say maybe the D-pad didn't perform quite as well as I'd liked, but I think the star of the show really is going to be Game Boy Advance. Oh, you know what's a new game that I really enjoyed while I was testing this? Okay, check this out. It's kind of silly, but this game called Backtrack. It's like this basically Doom clone, and I kind of found it quaint and charming. We'll see if you feel the same. Oh, my neighbor's hammering outside again. 1 second. Probably just Zoo. Okay, so you're this dude, and for some reason, you're in this high-tech spaceship? I mean, I don't know. And because of the emulator's turbo button that's built in there, it kind of makes it comical. It kind of is Prison Shank Simulator is what I would define it as. I mean, it's very violent, but, you know, okay, getting all the strawberry jam out of you there. Okay, hey, come back here. Why are you messing with my crew? Too much out of you. Okay, who else? Okay. Shank, shank, shank. Okay. I'll get you too. How is he able to take so many stabbings? This controls fairly well. It's a bit of an awkward FPS, being on Game Boy Advance in general, but you're strafing with the left and the right there. And then you got back and forth on the D-pad. And it works. I mean, the D-pad on this, again, is feeling just maybe a little bit too loose for my liking. Just a smidge. I mean, maybe I should move to Celeste and Backtrack here as my new D-pad test games. I don't want to be pivoting to the left and the right so easily. Another solid game I like to play for Game Boy Advance is Astro Boy. Mega Man and Bass. Yeah, platforming on this is really where it starts to shine. That and role-playing games. Role-playing games are a little more comfortable because then you can one-hand this, and it's nice and lightweight while we're doing that. So this is definitely pushing the chip to its limits and getting a little heat back here. 82. 92, not bad. Cooler down there, but you do start to feel the heat right on the battery. Got a little warm there on the higher end stuff. Battery life, we're down to 65. We're at 45 on the screen. Battery's drained a little faster than I'd like. Well, looks like it's that time again. Let's go ahead and wrap up. So, what do you all think of the V10 from PowKiddy? So far, this is one I've been actually impressed by. I mean, things I liked about it, though, are going to be face buttons and D-pad were solid, not 100% Celestable or backtrackable, but plenty Contrable and Hadoukenable. I like the screen. That 3:2 aspect ratio means you can enjoy your Game Boy Advance catalog with nice, crisp, well-scaled pixels. The sleep is very handy. Very pocketable, very lightweight, fairly small-ish. I like the feel of that matte plastic shell. I would say I like the speaker for what you get for mono. I like the ergonomics of the shoulder buttons. But going on to my dislikes, I do not like the loudness of the shoulder buttons. Likewise, I do not like the loudness of the front start and select. I think it would have been great if we could have gotten volume up and down on the sides there, or at least mapped to this plus and minus, which you would think would be volume up and down, but it's simply, it's a trick. The screen, well, it's a good resolution. It is still low resolution. Battery life has been okay. Gets a little warm, so I don't particularly like some of the heat that comes off that battery right there. Also, I don't like how cramped it makes my hands after a while. I think if you have larger hands or hands like mine, you might not find this comfortable and you'll get some hand cramping. But overall, again, at the price point, this is a solid recommend. This is going to be a good gift for a friend, a loved one. This is something that comes with games. You just boot it up and it works. If you want to customize this, you can take this quite a long ways. You can get some other custom firmwares on there, add your own games, which is what I recommend anyways. And also try out and tinker with N64, PSP, and Dreamcast. We've seen the 3326 so many times now, so many iterations. This at least, you know, it's a nice, unique offering. Another handheld that it reminds me of, though, ergo-wise, is the RG280V from Anbernic. That is another take on this idea. Well, that is actually being a weaker chipset. It's very similar ergonomics. Actually, it's worse ergonomics. So this is a bit of improvement while being just a bit larger as well. Yeah, I'm a fan. You know, I like this. Good on you, PowKiddy. Not too bad. I'm happy with this impulse buy. I know Zoo and I have a couple from Go Game Geek, so maybe we'll do a giveaway. Stay tuned for Zoo reviews on our channel. He's going to be having a full Game Boy Advance breakdown, showcase, some schnazness. But there are always alternative options, and I would say for around the same price point, for not too much more, you could get, while a smaller screen, a little more comfortable for me, is the 28XX from Anbernic. Smaller buttons and all that, but it's also more pocketable. The Miyuu A30 is an excellent choice lately. You can never go wrong with the Miyuu Mini Plus. This is going to have just the best of the best software. And if you can find the original 35XX, just awesome. Awesome. With a few tweaks, that's going to be able to give you longer play sessions. Really the closest comparison, price point wise, performance wise, and everything minus the sticks, is going to be the R36S from Game Console. They have other ones too. The R40S, don't buy that. The R35S, there's another new one that I can't keep up. There's just a slew of handhelds, but I can guarantee you that we'll talk about the ones that matter on this channel and the ones that really kind of move the needle at least a little bit in some direction. But the R36S, still, I'm a fan of this one, and comfort-wise, and having the options for the joysticks so you can enjoy more of the catalog that you could use on the RK3326 device, the buttons are not great. The value is there, but I feel this edges out the 36S for everything but comfort now. Okay, you want to step it up a little bit, you want to get an H700 device that isn't the 28XX, well, you got the SP, you got the 35XX Plus, both comfortable, usable devices. SP's fun, I love the portability, and it's a cool throwback. I still think that the original R351P, though, holds its own for GBA, and you get the sticks, a little bit better ergonomics. You could also pick up the original Miyuu Mini, small buttons. It's probably the most pocketable of these options. But with that, that'll do it for us, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay in the know for all of your favorite retro handhelds. And a special thanks to our channel members, patrons, and subs for making this channel possible. Perks with RH start for as little as $3 a month. Join us in our Discord to chat and play games, and join me back on the channel very shortly. We have to talk about the ROG Ally X, A1 Unicorn still in the works, so stay tuned. And until the next one, this has been Stubbs with RH. Take care of those handhelds, everybody, and each other. Bye.